Watching the College World Series reminds me why I like sports. I'm not worried about the Sorsby controversy. I'm not worried about the transfer portal. I'm not worried about who wants what and who's angling for. I'm watching these teams fight like hell to get back to where they are, to try to be who they are. And it is awesome, incredible competition. And it is so much fun. And I want more of it. I'm here to tell you that watching that sport last night, that Georgia and Texas thing, the pitching so far over, those guys were pitching so far over their heads. They had Texas flummoxed all night long. So completely fun to watch. And there's just something to be said for that. You know, in a sports world where we, I mean, this Cody Campbell guy at Texas Tech and what they've done to college sports. The thing is, it kind of reminds me of baseball itself. Where, and to some extent, the World Cup's this way. The World Cup, FIFA is a totally corrupt organization. I mean, corrupt. It wouldn't be beyond FIFA to fix a match. It wouldn't be beyond them to do whatever they wanted to do. It wouldn't be beyond the whole thing, okay? And so, but when these teams get on the pitch, the field, it's still about the games. I was thinking about that today. I was just thinking before beginning today's show, how much fun this tournament has been in baseball. And my team's not even in it, which leads me to this. Thank goodness, man, for the Tony Vitello era here. Brian, did you follow this thing before you bring Cinco in? Brian, did you follow the College World Series like this before Tony got here? Was it on your your dial?
Yeah, I did watch the tournament when the TV coverage expanded. I guess the early part of the 2010 decade, when the SEC network came along, when the ESPN family of networks started committing more time to televising games other than the College World Series, because I always felt some kind of charm about home field, teams playing in their home ballparks, and just the area surrounding home ballparks. There's something about seeing Troy host a regional with the church steeple view from left center field over left center field wall. There's something intriguing about that you don't get in basketball. And what sort of got me more interested was this was something that Vanderbilt could win a national championship in. And my immediate thought was, well, if they can win a national championship in this, shouldn't the University of Tennessee strive to do a lot better in it? Because I think the fans would have a lot of fun with it if they could ever get there consistently enough. And sure, Tony comes along and makes all that possible. So, yeah, I did pay attention to it to some degree because I thought it was a pretty neat thing.
Sean, is the sport getting better and better right now? Or was it always this great and I just missed the boat?
Well, I think it is better. More attention, more access, more eyeballs, more talent. I think it is better.
It feels like the sport's getting better and better every year, the sport of college baseball. And if Major League Baseball goes through with their plan to shrink the draft 10 rounds, that means these guys have to stay. I mean, the veteran players, you're either going to sign out of high school or you're going to be a veteran player and you're going to stay. And so I think it's, by the way, Taylor's got a great report today regarding the Vols, what they're doing in the portal, where they are. Sean, and he cautions everybody to remember that years past, we're still playing. Generally speaking, they haven't landed big fish until July. This is simply the month where you get your, you go ahead and you get in your name into the portal, but it isn't until July that they really, that we start seeing the big fish fall. So I'm not panicked yet. How about you, Cinco? Are you panicked?
No, I'd like to see a little more traction. Some things that have been interesting to me is the guys that have left here have gone on to either, power schools or World Series schools.
Mm-hmm.
And you kind of think, well, that's interesting because, I know what I saw here in 2 years or 1 year. And then, but they're going over there.
Yep.
And you're like, there's the potential for regret, the potential for, I'd be a complete a-hole if I were to suggest that I want one of these guys to leave that goes there not to succeed. That's on me for being a jerk in that case. But I also don't want the regret of watching a kid go and just tear it up. You know what I mean? If they couldn't do it here. So I hope all those kids can go and have success. But yeah, I mean, you get the second baseman, you get a pitcher or so.
Yeah.
I think that's a good start. I think there are a number of holes. One thing you have to remember is that the draft is going to be very important to next year's team because this I think they might have had it on VolQuest talking about that this morning. This class is just loaded. Now there's some high flyers that the Grenlinger brother, a couple of other kids that probably it doesn't make sense for them to go to college.
That's right.
But there's some other guys in the 50 to 150 range that are just could explode here. Appenzeller plus, Grindlinger plus,
and
so who knows? But
and we have a potential, Sean, for those guys. Is the long and short of it, right? We have to hold out hope that those dudes somehow make it here.
Well, yes, I think so. Because take a look at this. Whether it's Tony or not Tony,
right?
The program is the program. It's you have Dolander, you have Doyle, you have Chase Burns. We were part of that. I guess the tendency is that your last stop is where you became great. Like we would claim Andrew Fisher, but he's been a couple other places. But nonetheless, you have Burns, you have Dolander, you have all these guys. Tony leaves, and Tegan Kuhn's likely will be a first round pick if all goes to form. And I'm not here to debate Frank Anderson versus the hoodie or anything like that, but it's Tennessee. So yes, you were able to get Appenzeller here. So a lot of these kids are pitchers I'm talking about. So yeah, we absolutely have a chance to get them here.
It's a great sign that Tennessee was able to maintain their two big arms, and then the kid that committed, who's pretty accomplished in his own right, said, hey, one of the reasons I did is I had a chance to talk with the new pitching coach and I felt comfortable and I felt like it was something that I felt comfortable doing. And that's a good thing. So, I look at the baseball deal and I just kind of say, we're all going to have to be patient. I'm not saying super team. I'm not saying they're going to do what basketball did. They don't have the budget. And I don't know if this head coach, see, that's one thing we don't know about this guy. Is he going to do what Tony did? Well, what did Tony do? Tony went out there and made deals with people and then went back to the collective or whomever and said, you guys going to cover this. He's like a wild man. Totally unleashed. And that's how Tennessee got involved. I mean, look at it. Who finished second for Paul Skeens? Enough said. I mean, on an already incredible team, they were going to add Paul Skeens to that deal. And when they got hot and people started calling them, he wasn't turning people down. Oh, I don't have the money. He was, we'll go get this person, and then you guys figure it out, how we're going to pay these guys. And that's what he did. So it'd be interesting to see how Elander, does he operate more conservatively in that space, or does he do what Tony did and let everybody else sort it out? What's your guess, Sean? What do you think he does?
I think he'll be very aggressive. There's no doubt that Tony was Tony on the recruiting thing, but you know, a whole lot was Elander with the recruiting.
Yeah.
And I'm not privy to if Tony was just a closer. We all know that Tony worked his fanny off. He was married to recruiting instead of being married in real life. I don't have a commentary for his real life. I just know he worked his tail off. But so did Elander. So I don't know. What I wonder is, you know, the stadium's already built and opened.
Yeah.
Tony has moved on. And so do the money people, are they as interested? Because, you know, there was a wave coming in.
That's right.
National championship, the next thing, stadium opening.
That's right.
All this hoopla. This year, I'm not here to declare it a great season, a good season, or a disappointment. But I don't think they went to the tournament, and I applaud them. And I really think that he did a nice job. If you take a look at the whole body of work, given the fact of what landed on his lap,
yes,
et cetera, I think he did a nice job. And then afterwards with the hire of the baseball. But I just wonder if the money people are as enthusiastic about baseball as they were with Tony. Tony was the Pied Piper, and he could hypnotize people, both by his looks, his charisma, his success, his visions, etc. Is that same aura around the program? I can't answer that.
I think it's a great point, and going forward, we're going to see. Because look, all these, it's funny about coaches. You have to connect, right? You have to connect with kids, and then in baseball, like Bino says, there's got to be a certain connection with the fans too, because fans aren't going to come out and see you. They're not going to glom on to like a kind of a product that doesn't whatever that is speak to them. So today on the program in this spot, we were supposed to have Joe Kurt, and then he called us and told us he couldn't do it, but we had him scheduled. We were going to talk some World Cup with him. Cinco, have you been watching the kickball?
Absolutely. If I'm not watching it live, I'm watching the extended highlights. And last night, I've gone back and forth. Pele and Kyle Rote Jr. and those type of guys they're farther enough from the edge of my understanding that I just don't really know. But watching a 39-year-old Lionel Messi last night was unbelievable. You know, there's always been a thing where people in Europe, when they get to a certain age, they'll go to MLS or of late go to Saudi Arabia and just ride out the rest of their career. And I wondered if Messi going to the MLS was going to take a step away from him, was going to take it away. But, you know, with all due respect to Cristiano Ronaldo and Zinedine Zidane, fat Brazilian Ronaldo, and some of the Maradona and some of those guys, watching him be the best in the sport at 39.
39.
On the front stage.
39.
On the stage he's in.
39.
He's the one was spilled by Zidane's, ironically enough, his son last night for the second goal. But nonetheless, he was there. And no one else was. But the first and third goals were about as clinical as you can have in world soccer. And that was done by a 39-year-old playing at the absolute top of his game at the highest competition level. He's the best I've ever seen. And I debated him and Ronaldo forever, but he's the best.
Go! Cinco coming off the top rope. All right, when we come back, Sean, what is it about, and I want to make a list of these guys, what is it about Tennessee, and I need the users in the YouTube chat to the valued consumers of the show, the customers of the program in the YouTube chat, to please share with us legacy players here. And I want to go back, say 30 years. Let's list as many legacy players as we can. What do you think it is, Sean, about legacy players that we've had such a uneven time with those guys? I'm going to ask on the other side. I want to ask the great one, Watson Brown, on the other side, presented by Simpson's Meats, about that very thing, Sean. What do you think it is about legacy players? We've had a lot more misses than hits with legacy players. A lot of misses. A lot.
So you're talking about football players.
Sure.
Where
yeah, your father played here. Your father
progeny doesn't work out like the father.
Hey, Sean, even when they're high 5-star kids, like I'm thinking about the McKenzie kid. I'm thinking about the Munoz kid.
Bates.
I'm talking about your dad played the Bates kid. I'm talking about your dad played, and sometimes it was your dad played football here. Sometimes it was your dad played football elsewhere. Cornelius Bennett's son. There's been a ton of them.
Nigel Warrior.
Nigel Warrior. Tennessee's had really spotty.
Well, I'll tell you one that did work out. That's Todd Kelly Jr.
Very good. Yeah, Brian.
And
nice player.
And obviously the Colquitts.
Yeah.
I mean, you can even go back to look. Everybody you mentioned is a million times better than I've ever thought about being on my best dream day. But nonetheless, I mean, but it goes back, and I wonder if it's like, take a look at Brent and Todd Collins, first team All-American in high school. And then, and Todd spent like an hour here, but then we get Ryan, their younger brother.
Who's listening right now? Ryan, what's up, brother?
And I'm not cracking on anybody, believe me.
Ryan, who's listening? Hey, listen, but legacy players, and that's a point. There's tons of them. It's weird how Tennessee, one of the more successful legacy players was the Revés kid who was a walk-on. Now, you can't make that up. He's easily
they've all panned out.
He's easily one of the more successful players.
It seems
here.
like the ones that pan out didn't play the same position. Todd Kelly Jr. didn't play the same position that his dad did. Revés didn't play the same position that his dad did.
Yep.
Many of those other guys sort of played the same position.
Watson Brown.
The Mays kid, I think, worked out.
Who?
Well, certainly the Colquitts played.
Cooper Mays and Cody Mays and Cade Mays, rather.
Cade Mays and the Mays kids were good. Yeah, no question. So we'll talk about
the same position.
We'll talk about. I want to make a list of the legacies. We'll talk about where we grade them.
Well, add another one, Tony. Where legacies were we passed on that went off the show, like a Cedric Wilson Jr.
Wow.
I mean, he went out west, and I think he spent some time in the NFL.
In the Lee. He was what you call in the Lee. In the Lee. So we'll come back on the other side. Watson Brown joins. And we'll talk. I want to talk about that with Watson. These kids, when they come in, and you come from a football family. I'm thinking about this McIntyre guy, right? And my grandfather's a terrific coach, and I got to carry all that with me. Versus somebody who you're just blazing. You got up, You're born into this world, and you're blazing your own trail. Is it tougher to carry that legacy? Just a question. We'll come back on the other side, and then we'll get into some of your legacy players. It's an interesting thing to grapple with and to think about. And I guess Peyton Manning's son at some point is going to be on the horizon as well in several years. But we'll continue on the other side as we come back after this.
Life never stops moving. And between the 30-minute commutes, daycare pickups, weekly soccer practice, Tuesday night yoga, X number of coffee runs, and that weekend trip to grandma's, you're racking up the miles. What you need is a tire that can keep up. A tire designed for doers. A tire that's going to last. Like the exceptionally long-lasting Michelin Defender tire. With an 80,000-mile warranty and the safety and comfort you expect, you can forget all about the miles ahead and focus on getting to your destination or conquering your to-do list. Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. That's Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. Fleet Tire. He doesn't always drink beer, but when he does, he definitely prefers Dos Equis. That's right. The most interesting man in the world has returned, and he's more interesting than ever before. His phone is addicted to him. All of his teeth, all are wisdom teeth. So raise a Dos Equis to the man, the myth, the legend. And remember, stay thirsty, my friends. Dos Equis, enjoy responsibly. 2026 Cervezas Mexicanas, White Plains, New York.
Did you know your Knoxville Smokies are halfway through their season? Yeah, only 6 homestands remaining. Don't miss your favorite promotions still to come. This week is a huge week full of great promotions, like All You Can Eat Wednesday, Knox Vegas Thirsty Thursday with half-off draft beers, and Friday is Country Night. Grab that cowboy hat and plan to stay late for post-game fireworks and concert. Looking for that perfect day with Dad? Sunday is Father's Day, and we welcome you to celebrate Dad with us at Covenant Health Park. It's a jam-packed week, so get your tickets now at smokiesbaseball.com.
Are you tired of hiding your smile because of crooked teeth? At Knoxville Smiles, we've got the perfect solution. Invisalign. No metal, no wires, just clear, comfortable aligners that straighten your teeth without anyone noticing. Eat what you want, smile with confidence, and see results in as little as 6 months. Call us today for more information about Invisalign, 865-539-1776. Or just visit us online at knoxvillesmiles.com. Smile brighter with Knoxville Smiles.
Nothing reminds you of how much you rely on your air conditioner like the first really hot day in East Tennessee. Schedule Pipe Wrench Home Services' $79 seasonal tune-up now before the heat sets in. Our certified technicians inspect, clean, and fine-tune your HVAC system to help it run efficiently and reliably while reducing the risk of breakdowns when you need it most. And while we're there, we can also recommend ways to improve your indoor air quality for cleaner, healthier air throughout your home. For more than 20 years, homeowners across Knoxville, Maryville, Oak Ridge, and surrounding communities have trusted Pipe Wrench Home Services for dependable comfort. And with their same-day service guarantee, you won't be left waiting when comfort matters most. Schedule your $79 seasonal tune-up today at pipewrench.com. Same-day service guaranteed, or the visit is free. Offer valid on standard systems only. Visit pipewrench.com for details.
Baseball fans, it's time to step up to the plate. Look your best. Get some new Tennessee gear from Alumni Hall. Alumni Hall has the best selection. Top brands for you to choose from this season. Look, it's nice and warm outside. So get into any of their 6 air-conditioned East Tennessee locations. Shop online, download the app, grab your Tennessee baseball jersey, your hat, your decal, maybe a t-shirt, and they have so much more. Earn $10 in rewards for every $150 you spend. Go Vols and shop Alumni Hall, your ultimate Tennessee shopping destination. Touch them all with Alumni Hall. When it's time for a fresh coat of paint, run, don't walk to Walker's Painting. Interior and exterior, Walker's Painting's been making it beautiful since 1999 across the Knoxville area. New construction, repaints, commercial, residential, free estimates available. And get this, mention you heard Walker's Painting on the Basilio show, 10% off your first job. Let's go! Run, don't walk to Walker's Painting. 865
865-688-1410. That's 865-688-1410. Walker's Painting, making it beautiful since 1999. Check out the ad at the blog at tclub.team. Walker's Painting.
Inward Half is committed to the game and the memorable moments that happen in between. From the tee box to the tailgate, from the green to the big game. For the first birdie with Dad, the first big win with Mom. Friday night lights, Saturday superstitions, Sunday traditions. Fall into the comfort and unparalleled performance of Inward Half. This fall, enjoy the walk-in.
It's the hottest post-game show on the planet. Garza Law. Fifth quarter fan reaction. Fan reaction. As soon as the final gun sounds, we're live.
With Gary Sturm. He's with Mortgage Investors Group, making our community a better place every day. Gary, you've been at it 32 years, man.
Yes, Tony, I've been at Mortgage Investors Group for 32 years. We've known each other since, back in the 80s, right?
And we've gotten to know each other recently as our family has gotten involved with another mortgage. Through that whole process, you were a prince, just like Jeker. When he called you at 3 o'clock in the morning after a Tennessee loss, you've been giving your phone number out for a couple decades. And why is that, Gary?
This is the biggest financial decision you're ever going to make. You don't want to trust somebody online, some 800 number. You want to call somebody like myself that's going to give you my number, and you can call me anytime. I'm there to help you. I'm here to help you and your family, and I appreciate that. I appreciate your trust in me. You can call me anytime. You can be like Jeker and call me at 2 in the morning and complain about the balls just like he did. I'd rather you call me about a mortgage, but that's okay. If you want to cry about the balls, we can do that too. I'm a ball at heart. You know that. And if you want to come in and meet with me face to face, I'm here. If you want to do it online, I'm here. That's fine. If you're curious if you can qualify to buy a house, people know the housing market's tough. That's what I'm here for. There's no obligation. You can call me anytime. I get you pre-qualified. Or maybe you've got a mortgage, you're thinking about refinancing. Maybe you want to shorten the term. Maybe you want to go to a 15-year. Who knows? But again, that's what I'm here for. It's what I've been here for 32 years. My number is 865-660-2648. It's 865-660-2648.
Gary Sturm at Mortgage Investors Group, going to take great care of you.
So we are going to do some basketball previews beginning shortly. Presented by my man Gary Sturm and Mortgage Investors Group. It's going to be unbelievable. Some videos, etc. Get ready for it. Get fired up. Get focused and prepared. I will tell you this Harrelson guy that Tennessee got from Notre Dame, and there's a great backstory on him that I'm going to share on one of those videos, but the backstory of how he got here, because he went from being not on anybody's radar to being committed here. And it happened almost overnight. I want to talk with Watson Brown now on a Wednesday with Watson, presented by our friends at Simpson's Meats. Since 1888 on the great Jim Simpson's farm, they've been raising their absolutely hormone-free. It is the absolute best. You will taste the difference. It's incredible. It's a tradition that began on the Simpson family farm and continues to this day, right to your dinner table. And Watson Brown last week, I couldn't eat anything, so let alone a good piece of steak. When I missed you last week, my brother.
No, I don't think you were thinking about Simpson's meat. You were pretty sick, my man.
Had to go to the doctor. She said to me, I don't know how to tell you this, but I got to give you this injection in your rear end. I said, what am I, 9? But here we go. Fired up, focused, and prepared. Watson, one thing I want to begin with, unless you want to talk about this Sorsby, I think you really want to talk about this Sorsby deal. How sick were we of that Sorsby thing, and how lucky did the NCAA get that the league sued the university and forced that kid off that campus? Otherwise, we'd be still in the middle of this, Watson.
Well, if it didn't get settled in some way and he played through completely, Tony, then you got no control of any kind anymore.
No, you're done.
So that was a savior, and that better be wake us everybody up and let's get some rules in place here and get some of this stuff done and get control of college athletics and especially college football and basketball. We got to get control. And you saw where the NFL, the NBA, the NFL Players Association backed the deal with that Congress or Senate's doing. I guess it's the Senate, but backed it. They know that if they don't get control of college sports, it's going to really hurt their game. And so everybody is throwing up red flags. So let's hope and pray now that maybe this incident will speed everything up.
The great Watson Brown joining. Watson, I want to ask you about something. Tennessee's got a commitment from Kevin Simon's son. And I look at legacy players, and it seems like, because we've seen some really, we were talking about before you jumped on, we've seen some really highly touted guys. And, these players of legacies that have played, and I'm talking about their fathers have played here, or in some cases, they played elsewhere. But it seems like a kid whose father played college football, or like even a George McIntyre, you have a legacy there where you come from a kind of a royal family of college football, if you will. It seems like these kids who already have enough pressure on them, Watson, now I've got something else to live up to. What is your take on sometimes second generation players and just how difficult the whole thing is?
I've dealt with that a lot through my time, and I've coached players of daddies that I coached. I've coached that were really good players, and I've coached players that their daddies were great players at the schools I were at. I've had two children that both played college sports that had to deal with my name, and I look back on it and I feel awful about that, because it was always the son of Watson Brown, the daughter of Watson Brown, and that's so unfair. That's just not that's more than they need to deal with. I think it's even worse when they're coming up through high school than it is even college. And so yes, I think it is an issue. The better the daddy was, the harder it is for the son to come in and do that. I would look back on it and I would say it's probably not best for the son to come in if daddy was a great player. If daddy was a good player or something like that, then I don't think it's as big an issue. But when he's in the Hall of Fame and when he's been a great player at that school, there's so much you have to stand up to and match that I just think it's too much. And the other thing, Tony, as I look at my children, I just wish that they had been able to come through and not just be the son and daughter of somebody, and just they get to do their own thing a little bit. So in some ways that hurt them. There's nothing I can do about that, but in some ways, and they had great careers. I'm not saying that, but just looking back, I don't know that I felt it as strong during the time, but looking back on it now, I'd say, boy, I wish they'd have just got to be Stephen Brown instead of Stephen Brown, son of Watson Brown, or Jenny Brown, or whatever it might be.
It seems like it's like, for instance, I'm thinking about in a few years, this Peyton Manning's got a son, right? And everybody's already talking about him.
Yeah.
The kid's in 8th grade.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, there's just no way. Well,
even when he was 8 years old, he was the son of Peyton Manning, and that's hard. I'm just telling you, that is hard.
And so it's extremely, it seems like, because Tennessee's had, like we were making a list here. They've had guys like, was that Raleigh McKenzie's son, Sean Khalil McKenzie, or Reggie? Do we remember? Anybody remember that? There's one of the McKenzie brothers who were great players here.
I think it was Raleigh's.
But they're
I think it's Reggie.
all right. Well, we'll split the difference.
I think he was with the Raiders and his son. I think Khalil went to De La Salle out there.
Watson, this guy had a film, okay, where you watched this film and you put him in the Hall of Fame. He goes to a camp and they're doing the Oklahoma drill on some kid. Cinco, describe that to Watson Brown, what he did to that guy.
He looked like he was going to come. I mean, he looked like Doug Atkins in those old NFL things with comparable, rated players. It looked crazy.
That's exactly what he looked like. And he got here, Watson. And no offense to him, but you talk about a guy that looked like Tarzan and played like Jane.
Yeah.
Isn't that wild?
Oh, we've had them. I used to call them bus walkers. They look great getting off the bus. And that's about it. That's about as far as it came from that point on. We've all had them. I'm sorry to say, but we've all had them. And not to downplay those kids, because a lot of those were great kids. They just did not have athletic ability. They just didn't have it.
Or the other thing is, right, the other sidebar thing that you don't realize is you got to live up to something.
Oh, that's pressure.
You can't be yourself.
It's an extra pressure that I just don't think kids, and I think people think of it the opposite, Tony and Sean, Brian. I think they think of it as, well, he gets the advantages a lot of other people don't get. Because of his name, he'll get more looking at him, or because of his name, he'll get this or he'll get that. And honestly, after watching kids I've coached through my own children, that is not true. It is harder to be that person, especially if you're where the person in front of you, your daddy or your uncle, whoever it might have been, was so good. Not just good. Just being good doesn't affect them that much, but so good that it stays with you. And if you watch, a lot of them never wear the number of their dad or whatever. And it's not out of, I don't like my dad, he loves his dad or whatever, but it's just he wants to be his own person. So I don't think any of the Mannings wore the number, did they, of their daddy?
I don't think they did.
Not either one. Eli didn't.
They didn't. No, they didn't.
Archie was 18 and Peyton was 16, so neither one of them wore their daddy's number.
Yeah, they were themselves. And it was interesting when Peyton didn't follow through and go to Ole Miss. A lot of people were shocked by that. But, I don't know if I'd want if I was Peyton Manning, I don't know if I can say this out loud. People are going to burn my house down here, but I don't know if I'd encourage him to go to my alma mater or go carve your own trail. That's tough.
I don't
That's
know.
tough, right? That's tough.
It's one thing to have to deal with. It's another to look back on it and say, I wish I had done this or that. It's tough. And you love your child so much. You just, I don't know. I just think it's a very hard thing, especially when you're that good.
That good. I mean, this guy here,
just a good player that it didn't affect him.
Right.
But that good a player, and you're at the school where he played, I think that's just double tough. That's double tough.
It's a lot. I want the living fan to think about this now. Think about the way Peyton Manning is absolutely reviled here, okay?
Oh,
think about how difficult that would be. It's bad enough for this kid to be the Manning of the moment, which is, I guess, what we're going to call these people as they come through the sport. The Manning of the moment at Texas, think about the pressure he has on him. His father couldn't play. His father was the one that couldn't play. He was like the ugly, no offense to him. I mean, that was just Imagine being that guy.
Well, he was really a pretty decent player.
And then he got hurt.
He was a receiver.
He got hurt.
Oh, he had spinal stenosis, I think. That's why
he had a neck issue, a nerve issue that finished him. So he was a little better. Now, was he going to be like the two brothers? No, I don't think so. But he was a pretty good player. I'm going to defend that a little bit.
And so the point
again, that's in the mode of being a pretty good player and that great player.
That's right.
To me, that's the difference. That's the difference.
And the truth is, Eli was a nice player, okay, but he ain't Peyton. A nice player.
Well, there are Ole Miss people that would disagree with you, probably.
Well, they can disagree all they want. I'll tell you,
he's won 2 Super Bowls.
Both of them are great NFL players. So I mean, it's. I don't know that I'd even want to try to pick between them.
Oh, I would pick between them.
I just thought Peyton all the way through just was unbelievable, and so I just love watching him play all the way through. I love watching. I can see the Alabama game down there in Birmingham right now, where he just absolutely burned them that night. I mean, started from maybe the first, second play of the game. I mean, just burned them, just ate them alive. And so Peyton had some great moments and some things that I'd love to see him win the Heisman. I thought he deserved it, honestly, but
he got ripped off.
We'd go through that forever. But they're both that kind of player. Their sons going to that school will be tough, and it's going to be interesting to see if Peyton's son does go to Tennessee.
Yes,
it will be. Where he's put him in school, you would think that might be leaning that way, but that doesn't mean that. That does not mean that at all. And the Mannings have been the three that have gone from Granddaddy and Daddy that have been great players have all done their own thing. Eli's the one that went to Ole Miss, but he handled it pretty dadgum good.
Yeah, he really did.
He ended up in the Hall of Fame at Ole Miss also, and was an All-American and a great player. So he handled it pretty dadgum good.
He had David Cutcliffe there, who I know you know, and
that may have been the underlying real piece why he went.
That's right.
That it wasn't where his daddy went.
That's right.
Cutcliffe was there. Cutcliffe was there.
What's interesting about Tennessee is, who will the coach be by the time the wheel rolls around when that Manning kid's a senior? Because Josh Heupel's pretty long in the tooth, Cinco, for these SEC jobs. He's heading into year 6. And these guys don't last 10 years anymore. They just don't. We have to keep it. Unless you win a national championship, you're not lasting 10 years. So it's going to be.
And they forget winning that national championship pretty quick, too.
Well, that's the other thing. Wednesday with Watson Brown. Ain't that the freaking truth?
No, they do.
Ain't that the freaking truth?
Quick.
So you're coaching a legacy kid. You've been there. And the kid's got a great father and this, that, and the other. How do you coach those guys? How do you approach those guys?
No different. No different. I don't. When I'd have one like that and with that kind of family deal, I never even really bring it up. I don't know if I ever even talked to it about it, unless I felt like I knew he was struggling for one of those kind of reasons. But you just let it go and you coach them, and just let it be, and it falls wherever it might fall. But I do think it's hard. I do. I do think there's an extra piece, and some kids can handle it, and some kids can't. But I do think it's an extra piece that the kid has to understand as he's walking in the door.
Watson Brown, presented by our friends at Simpson's Meats, where they raise and source their meat from farms on pasture on purpose. I tried to remember that in my mind without that in front of me earlier. It didn't go well. Those of you keeping score at home and moving right to left across your device. In addition, they've got steaks, burgers, sausages, roast chicken, variety of local offerings at their butcher shop, which is located off Level Road. Check them out today. They also, if you want to shop in bulk, they sell half and quarter cows. And I did say half and I did say quarter cows. And it's pretty next level. So we're fired up, focused, and prepared for you. You can check them out online at simpsonsmeats.com. Watson, I did a little research for my blog overnight because I was looking at playoff quarterbacks from last year, and we got off into a discussion, and I wanted to bring this to light with you here and get your thoughts on it. Because Tennessee, no matter who starts a quarterback this fall, you're throwing a kid out there who's hardly played. You've said on the record here, I would always, in this era, I would always, if I was a have like the Vols, I would shop in the portal till I knew I had somebody really, 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 really ready to play on my roster. That kind of is your point of view, right?
Yes. You've got I'll say this, Tony. Anybody I ever upset, and I I was underdog in probably 80% of my games. Anybody I ever upset that was really good, the quarterback play that day was not good. I never beat one of the teams that was really better than me that if the quarterback didn't screw it up. So that is the spot, and you just cannot get caught without that guy. And I think they think one of those guys will be. I do. Or they would have taken one. I also don't think it was a great portal year for quarterbacks. I really don't. Personally, I thought Sorsby was just a solid player, but nothing just out of sight. I thought he was a solid player. So I didn't think it was as good a portal year as it has been.
Agree.
We'll see. We'll see how the kid from TCU does. But that's what I thought. The one that went to LSU, I thought he was a good player. Levitt, isn't that his name? I forget.
Yeah, he's
exactly.
all right. Levitt.
But I didn't all that kind of money. That shows you how these coaches know how important that position is, man. And they're willing to bring one in and have some young ones with it and take a chance because they know you don't win without that position in college football. You just don't.
So let's just go through these quarterbacks real quick. Cinco, you chime in as you will. Indiana gets Fernando Mendoza from California, and basically they make each other. He explodes, they explode, the whole thing explodes, and the world's not the same. Ohio State has Julian Sayin, who is a redshirt freshman, led the nation in completion percentage. He's the only Watson of the 12 quarterbacks that led their team to the playoffs last year. He's the only second-year guy out there.
No, what does that tell you?
The only one. And here's the thing about it. I think I could have led the nation in completion percentage with the way they dialed back their offense at the end of the year with those wide receivers he had. The great one is still there. Carnell Tate went where in the draft? Like top 9? They're going to have two.
Higher than that.
Yeah,
they're going to. He was third. I think he was picked third, wasn't he, to the Titans? Yeah. Wherever the Titans fell, they took him. So, I mean, they love him from what I'm hearing.
Oh, yeah, he's had a great camp. Yeah, he showed up in camp.
Yeah.
And so, moving along, this is where Watson makes his point. First of all, he makes his point with Mendoza. Then you go Gunnar Stockton, a fourth-year pocket Hercules. That guy sat on their campus, played the year before in that championship game when Beck got hammered, and came back last year and was very good for them. Gunnar, little guy, but knew the offense, Watson.
He's a winner.
Not wrong.
He's tougher nails. He's very smart. He is absolutely, totally respected on that football team. He is underrated. He is better college football player than they're giving him credit for. I'm telling you.
Cinco, you agree with that?
Don't forget Georgia. Don't forget Georgia because of that this year. Now, if he stays healthy.
Cinco, you agree with that on Gunnar Stockton? Because Kirby does his best work with these under the radar quarterbacks, not the 5-star guys.
I wouldn't mind if he was our starting quarterback.
He's not sexy, though. He's little.
What do you think about the Georgia Tech quarterback getting Fernando's brother? Do you think, how does that look for the Vols on their second game?
Brian, we don't know anything about that kid. I mean, he's asking about Mendoza's brother, Watson.
He's got a little bit of what we're talking about that he's got to live up to.
Say?
That's exactly right. What we just discussed.
That's exactly right, Brian.
Already they think of him as going to be a great player just because his brother was.
I wouldn't have thought about that. That's the tie.
Telling you.
That's tied to today's show. Watson,
maybe the reason he left Indiana, he didn't want that. That may be absolutely the reason he left, or he knew they weren't going to let him be that guy. I don't know, but it could have been because he didn't want to have to follow that. He wanted to be his own man.
Ole Miss gets Trinidad Chambliss, a fifth-year.
What a luck of the draw that was.
A fifth-year player.
Wow.
Out of wherever he comes from, whatever level of football that was, and he gets a sixth year. He gets a sixth year now for some reason.
Yeah.
But that's
the end of the year. He was special now. He was special. If he can come back and have that kind of year again, we'll see. My gracious, was he good. He basically just wheeled Ole Miss as far as they went. That's basically what it was.
Dante Moore played at Oregon last year. He's a third-year quarterback. He transferred from UCLA. He was a part of the Nico class. Sean, do you remember when he was being recruited with Nico? And they were right up there at the top of the polls with each other?
Yep. Absolutely.
So then you got Texas, Marcel Reed, kid that hails from our Music City area, led A&M to parts unknown. He was a third-year quarterback last year, back for more this year.
Yep, and he'll be better. He will. He made some mistakes last year. He won't make this year. He'll be more consistent this year. Promise you. And they tell me he's a great kid. And his daddy was the head coach at TSU. And I know his daddy really well. So he's got a great family background. His daddy raised him right. And he was, I promise you, he's a tough-minded kid. And so watch out for him. I think he's going to have a really good year.
He led Texas A&M to something they haven't done. That's the best season they've had in the modern history of their school, Watson.
I watched him play high school basketball. He is you don't always see it in their system as a quarterback because they don't just run him a ton. But he's a great athlete now. He was a point guard in the NBA and a great athlete.
Carson Beck, Miami. They put him around a ton of talent, and he had a terrific year versus what he did at Georgia. He came back last year and made it count for Miami. And I'm telling you right now, they're the only team that was able to stay on the field with that bunch from Indiana. And they came pretty close to winning it all last year. It's about as close as you can come, Watson.
Yeah, I went into A&M and beat them in College Station. That is no easy feat. And he just played better. He became a team guy.
Yeah.
I thought he was more of an individual at Georgia. And he became a team guy. I'm not sure all that didn't hit him right between the eyes and leaving and all the crap he caught. And he dropped the ego and became a team guy and was a much better player because of it.
Texas Tech had Baron Morton. It's just interesting to put this on paper and look at it. Fifth-year senior, Watson. Led the most obnoxious program on the planet to the playoffs. But what are you going to do? They've got the money. They had a guy last year, a fifth-year guy at the helm. And this year, Watson, they're not going to have that. They're not going to have experience. And I know they're in that league, but that opens up the deal for somebody else to win that league now, get that playoff spot.
Yeah, I don't know if there's anyone left out there they could go get. I don't think there is. But that's going to really hurt Texas State. Really hurt them.
Alabama, Ty Simpson. Last year we didn't know who Ty Simpson was. We knew he was Jason Simpson's son. We knew he was a pretty good player in the state of Tennessee. He played very sparingly. To Watson's point, if you're going to play a quarterback on your roster that's not out of the portal, it better be one of these veteran guys that's been in your deal several years if you want to make the playoffs. That's exactly who Ty Simpson was. And Watson, I don't know about you. 1 year ago, I was not expecting him to be high to mid first round draft pick like he became. I wasn't
Well,
expecting that.
If you all remember, I said that. I said he's going to be the surprise of the league. I've just known this kid for a long time, and I knew how he's a winner. He's just like Gunnar Stockton in a total different way, but it's the same kind of deal. And I knew he'd have total respect with the teammates. And so I said that last summer, and I know y'all kind of said, huh? But I felt like he was going to have a really good year. And I think he'll be a good, solid player in the NFL. I don't know if he'll ever be the guy there. He may be. But he's willing to sit and learn now. He'll do it. He'll sit right there and learn. And so don't count him out even in the NFL at this point.
Watson, when he starts talking about quarterbacks, you better listen, okay? Early on, he told you Nico does not fit Tennessee's system. Early on, he told me when I was on Plaster, when I was getting to know him, I don't know who this Hendon Hooker guy is, but he's getting ready to explode. Before he exploded, he called that shot. He said in that offense, they're getting ready to light up the scoreboard like it's Times Square and it's Christmas time, okay? He called that shot. And CB Brent TV3 is saying that you absolutely did call the shot last year. He specifically remembered you calling the shot on Ty Simpson. Here's a curious one, Watson, because he's an odd player when you watch him. But out of nowhere, Oklahoma made the playoffs last year.
Yep.
We would all agree on that. Kind of out of nowhere. Nobody thought they were making the playoffs. Begin of the year.
Got hot late.
Got hot late. And he played better late. And why? Another veteran, third-year transfer quarterback, experienced college football player led his team.
I think if he can stay healthy, he seems to struggle with that. But
yep.
I just think if he stays healthy, Oklahoma will be there. They will. They're good enough everywhere else. Everybody tells me, my old friends, the coach there for 2 years now, my old friends in Norman tell me they're good, and the quarterback is going to have to play really good, better than he did.
Yep. Are you there, Watson? Because I got two more guys to cover here. The two guys you're going in and out on me here, Watson. The two guys, he's on his big farm right now. I can hear him outside, the gnat sound. If John Adams was here, we would put the bird app up and hear what those birds are that Watson has in the back. Watson, do you know your birds since you're an outdoorsman?
My wife does. I'm slowly learning.
Nice.
She tells me what it is.
Nice, man.
Yeah, she knows.
Tulane, Jake Ratzliff had the deal where he fell right into Tulane's lap. Tulane lost their quarterback, the Mensa member, to Duke. Yep. And the Mensa member went over to Duke. And Jake Ratzlaff, ready for this? A fourth-year transfer. And then finally, the kid that won the spot for the group of five teams from James Madison, Alonzo Barnett, was a fourth-year quarterback who was a second-season starter. Hey, look, the takeaway here is you want to go to a playoff, it's very, 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 very difficult to even do it with a redshirt freshman quarterback. A second-year quarterback. Most of these quarterbacks were third or fourth year. Now, I haven't gone back the year before that and looked at it, but I sense a trend here, Watson. I sense these quarterbacks on the have teams are going to stay older players.
It'll be interesting to watch because I do think a second-year freshman or sophomore can get it done and make the playoffs if they're really good. I think you've been around long enough to do that. A freshman, I don't think so. I don't care even if they were in spring ball. But a guy that's been through the system for a year and he's a year older and then nearly 2 years now, I think one of those could come through. And we're going to see if anybody has one of those that's going to do it. But I think all these coaches have learned, Tony, We got to make sure we have that position and not want. In the old days, you said, "Boy, we got one now. Let's let him have a year, and he'll get better. And by next year, blah blah blah." You can't think like that anymore. You just can't do it. What do you got this year? And if you don't have that position, you're not going to be in the top 12. It's not happening.
Hey, Sean Sinclair, is this just a bunch of interesting numbers, or do we learn something from those numbers, or learn something from the fact that the veteran quarterbacks last year ruled the day?
No, I think it's interesting. You just never know, but typically, those freshmen, regardless of the sport, are just difference makers. Carmelo Anthony, Trevor Lawrence in football, those type of guys are just, they're one of one for their time. But I do think that, I didn't know who the Mendoza kid was at Cal. That's not, and I'm not a savant or anything. I didn't know anything about Cal when he came over. But I do think that when a kid has been to a couple places, we talk about strength and we talk about time in the film room. But I also think you can't quantify this, but I also think there's something about just being mature and having your rear kicked and being a backup at somewhere else and coming over and being your quote unquote contract year. I think that those guys, I saw it a lot, and I'm sure Coach did too. When kids see that time is running out on their college careers, regardless if they're a NFL prospect or not, their focus elevates. And when their focus elevates, their effort and their play elevates. So I'd prefer to have an older quarterback, but I'm not coach, so
Oh, I think you're dead right, Brian, or Sean. You're dead right. And I don't care if he's young, old, whatever. He's got to be a player. And you've got to be a real good player. You can't just be a good player. And you've got to be consistent every week, guys. You lose down the stretch to a team you shouldn't lose, and your quarterback goes and has a bad day. You cost yourself the playoffs. I mean, that position, I remember having two major upsets in my career. We went to State College at Penn State and beat the defending national champions in Joe Paterno. What happened that day? Quarterback threw 5 interceptions. We go to LSU and knock off Nick Saban's team, who played that year for the SEC championship at UAB. What happened? Quarterback threw 4 interceptions. I mean, that position will get you beat against somebody that shouldn't beat you, and that's why it is so important in today's world. And they can't just be good. They got to be consistently good.
Which leads me to this, as the great Watson Brown joins. We had a conversation yesterday, and I got myself in trouble. But my view on Joey Aguilar, people say, well, if he comes back this year, how much different is this season going to be wins and losses wise? You read what I just put down, and it should say that if he comes back this year, Tennessee, well, let me do a lot. Let me keep it legal here. 1 second.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville, and W289CU Knoxville, Fan Run Radio.
Let's go. All right. A little bit of feedback with that too, which I love. So, and I hope the listener enjoys a little feedback as well. No matter when you're consuming, where you're consuming, how you're consuming this, a little feedback. It's good for you. I need some more. It needs some more sound in the monitors, as the old musicians used to say back in the day when the mixes weren't the best. Okay. Joey Aguilar, Watson. I got yelled at yesterday because I view Joey Aguilar as a pretty good college quarterback who has a high floor but a limited ceiling. And I don't know in Heupel's offense if you're going to be able to beat the teams you need to beat without a guy that can run with the football. And I mean run for yardage when it's called for. And he threw a pretty deep ball. He threw into a lot of trouble and traffic last year at times. And he got him beat in a couple big games doing that. And I was not sold. I don't think he would have made that much of a difference this year. Your thoughts? Hang on, you're skipping around. I really want to hear this answer. So go ahead. I want to make sure you're in a good spot. Go ahead.
Okay. I really can't say because he had a major injury at midseason now. And we don't know how much that thing affected him last year. And he kept his mouth shut. He didn't say one word. He never made an excuse of any kind. I don't know. I think somebody fights through what he did, and he stayed out there, and he kept trying. He's tougher nails. I know that.
Yep.
He's tougher nails. And when you got one of those that's mentally and physically tough, he can overdo. He can take his ability further than a lot of people can when you have those things. So I'm not going to say he couldn't, Tony. I just don't think it was fair to him from maybe mid-season on. We were judging him when he really wasn't himself.
Sean Sinclair, you buy that?
Yeah, I do. I'd rather have Joey Aguilar this year than what we have currently on the roster, simply because I don't think he was a great quarterback. I think a lot of things can be true. I think he saved our bacon. Mm-hmm. I think we were very fortunate to have him on the team after the Nico thing. And I think he accounted himself very well, regardless of the injury. I do think he has a ceiling because of the type of Brett Favre-ish type player he is. But if he were here this year, I think you could add a win or two. I really do.
Wow.
Because he's seen things, man. He's been through life. He's not going to. I don't trust a freshman in the fourth quarter with 100,000 people in there. They may be able to do it, but I'd rather have a guy that's been there, done that. And I think that one more year of Heupel tailoring the offense to him, I think a lot of the time last year was just, let's see what we got. And then we'll go from there.
Plus the other thing
I'd much rather have him here this year than one of the two freshmen, easily.
Plus the other argument for that, guys, is as you say what you say, not that I'm waffling here, because I think he's a high floor guy, but a limited ceiling guy. But maybe Watson's right. Maybe I'm being unfair to him because maybe the tumor, we don't know that. But I do know, and I said it on the air, that he was wincing to throw the ball at the end of the year.
Absolutely.
And he was not telling anybody. He didn't tell. He didn't come to the media. They didn't leak that out. If they'd have leaked it out, I'd have known about it. They didn't leak it out to anybody. They didn't. This kid kept it in-house. He swallowed it. That's leadership right there, Watson. Here's the other thing. That offensive line returns intact this year, basically. And so when your offensive line comes back intact, you get a veteran quarterback back. I just don't think has the facility to beat the top teams. But I could be wrong.
I remember last year, a couple of his worst plays were just absolute busts in the offensive line. A couple of fumbles, a pick six, etc. Now he made some mistakes, but I don't think a lot of the plays that were attributed to him were all his fault.
Never are. They never are. They're never always the quarterback's fault. He's the one going to catch the heat for it, and he gets the credit when it's good. But that's exactly true. And I just noticed a major difference in velocity of his ball. I said, golly, it's not coming out of his hand like it was early in the year.
That's really interesting.
And I did. I noticed that. And it was not just late. I thought it mid-season. I said, he's not throwing that square-in route the way he was throwing it earlier in the year. And I didn't know if he was losing his confidence over something or what. And then we found out he had a physical injury. The other thing we don't talk enough about, fellas, with these quarterbacks you went through, Tony, leadership. It's hard for a freshman to be the leader of a team. We always had captains. Everywhere I've ever been, you got captains, most of the time senior captains. But there's a leader on your team that has to be, and that's the quarterback. And if you don't have that guy as a leader that everybody turns to when this is that, and see how he reacts and what he says and what he does, And when you don't have that, and it's hard to have it in young kids, some do. The special one has that, but there ain't a bunch of those out there.
Those guys that play with Manning tell a great story in '94 after Jerry Colquitt got hurt. He goes into the huddle, and he's clapping, and he's like, doing the rah-rah thing. And Jason Lehman looks at him and says, "Shut the hell up and call the play." And that's what you're talking about. That's kind of what you're talking about.
Exactly what I'm talking about. And that is, if your quarterback is not your top leader, and if he's not the top, he's second to top. If he's not that, he's not what you need a quarterback.
Like, you're 18, kid. We're 22, 23. We've been around here for a while. You're 18. How about you shut up and call the play? And now that you know what Manning became, sports are an interesting thing because it's a meritocracy. There's a system there where they don't care how great you're going to be. You still have to kind of pay the piper, learn the ropes, whatever it is, still exists. Watson, great conversation, man. How good was it to talk about real stuff instead of Sorsby this week? What do you think?
I'm glad that's done. And we take a deep breath. And let's hope, Tony, that we all threw that red flag up and said, let's fix this stuff. Let's get all this fixed, man, before we ruin a great thing. And college football and college athletics is still a great thing. The fans still loved it last year, and let's don't screw up a great situation here. Let's fix this stuff.
Thank you, Watson. Love you.
Love you guys. It's always an honor.
Thank you, brother. The only fix, and thank you to our friends at Simpsons Meats, the only fix they have is sit in a room with these guys and iron out a framework and stop anarchy. But until they stop anarchy, it's not going to end. Brian, you brought up an interesting point that I didn't consider. When Mendoza, who does Georgia Tech have, Bri, their first game? Like a Crip game? We need to look at that. We need to look at that because
I'm not sure.
Yeah, we need to look that up because Mendoza, I hadn't even considered it. Mendoza is going to walk out there, Sean, with a lot of pressure on him. Going to be in a totally different offense. Going to be in a totally different spot. But he's going to walk out there.
They got Colorado.
So they'll win that game. Probably be 1-0. Well, I guess he'll have pressure in the Colorado game. Anytime you play Dion, eyes are on that thing. Is that a big enough game for them, Cinco, for him to get over the hurdle of the pressure, Colorado, or is that not a big enough spot? Where is the game, Bri? Where's the Colorado game?
I think it's at Georgia Tech. They played at Colorado last year.
Wow. So Dion comes back.
Home.
Dion comes back to Atlanta. What do you think, Sean?
That's a Thursday night. That's a Thursday night game. So
Thursday at 8 p.m.
All eyes will be on it.
Wow. So, yeah, he'll have a big spotlight on him. What do you think, Sean? Is that big enough for him, or will the Tennessee game be a bigger stage where he feels the pressure of trying to live up to his brother?
I don't know that he will. I mean, he comes from a football family. He was right there with his brother. He wasn't his brother, but he's right there. He's been thought to be as good a prospect coming up as his brother. Now, not nearly as big, but he's a much better runner than his brother is. I wouldn't suggest, I can't see where our two quarterbacks are going to have, be tested by fire before that either. So, and he's got more playing time than GMAC or Faison. And another thing is, I don't know that he's, the next Vince Lombardi, but I think their coach down there I think he's a very nice coach.
He does a great job.
That's a tough program. I think that the Mendoza family probably scouted that out. They're not going to put their son in a lose situation. But I would be I'd be shocked if Georgia Tech, regardless of the quarterback, is not a salty team given that coach.
So here's a question for the living Vol fan as we ponder 2026. I'm just looking at this. I don't know whether this is just a one-year aberration, but the only guy here that's the only quarterback of the ones that made the playoffs last year that was anywhere close to being a kid is the Saying guy. He's the only one. He's a second-year player. He's a redshirt. Which even begs the question that much more. When you return your starters on offense, on your offensive line, why didn't they go get a quarterback here? I mean, it's a pretty interesting question, isn't it? Like a veteran quarterback. Let me ask you something.
I'll throw something out there.
Well, who was Joey Aguilar for last year, Sean? What do we know of Joey Aguilar? We knew he threw a lot of interceptions.
Yep.
We knew he was unreliable. Threw for a lot of yards, but they thought he was unreliable, and he was kind of turnover happy, and this, that, and the other. And he got really good.
He was kind of perceived as it was kind of like at Christmas where you get a gift and you screw your buddy by giving the lesser. We kind of thought, the potential was out there that we got the lesser of the deal. UCLA thought that they got the better deal. They didn't, but we kind of thought that. But my question to you guys is, I'm not here to suggest this guy can play or not. I don't know. But given two guys that are relatively inexperienced, not in the system very long with GMAC and Faison.
Yep.
I'm not saying this kid can play, but would it surprise you at all if the Staub kid from Colorado makes an appearance or two? Again, before anyone rips me saying, he can't play. I don't know if he can play or not, but you're talking about a kid who weighs about 205 and a true freshman against, the SEC. I don't think that's an impossibility that the Staub guy plays and not in just mop-up duty.
That Staub guy, what he is a stopgap. Tony B, inviting you to experience the Collins Insurance difference. And what's that? How about multiple top carriers that you can trust? Like Erie. They underwrite our entire Rainier studio and everything around it. Travelers, Hartford, Hanover, Progressive. We do what's right because we care. In today's technology-driven world, maintaining the human touch, Bruce Springsteen, is one of our main focuses. We deliver the best customer service humanly possible. We give you someone that you can actually call or sit in front of. Imagine that. No call centers here. Experience the Collins Insurance difference. Check them out at collinsinsuranceTN.com, and they're Mrs. B approved. Collins Insurance. TB with a few serious questions. You feeling tired? Foggy, you gaining weight, or you just don't feel like yourself anymore? Hormone therapy is finally becoming mainstream, but it's truly something my man, Dr. Tom Rogers, has been doing for over 20 years. Dr. Rogers at Performance Medicine wants you to feel your best, and he treats both males and females. So guys, we can do this as a family. At Performance Medicine, hormone therapy is personalized to you. If you're dealing with hot flashes or mood swings or low energy, decreased libido, fatigue, muscle loss, stubborn weight gain, it might be time to find out what your body really needs. No shame in this game. You can do something about all the above. Performance Medicine offers customized hormone treatment plans based on comprehensive lab testing with options like pellets, creams, patches, oral medications, and injections. The goal is simple. Help you feel like yourself again. Next level. Make your life better. Take it to the higher plane. Visit performancemedicine.net. Schedule your consultation today. You'll feel your best with Performance Medicine.
Big news, Basilio family. Get ready because the 2026 Knoxville real estate market is officially shifting into high gear. All signs are pointing toward a record-breaking year, and the energy across East Tennessee is absolutely electric right now. Whether you've been dreaming of finding that next home, looking to capitalize on your current equity, or ready to dive into the investment world, the timing has never been better. Having a game plan is the key to winning in this fast-paced market, and I'm ready to help. Give me a call, Jennifer Morris, at 865-694-5904, or reach out at nextmovesmokymountains.com. That's nextmovesmokymountains.com, and go Vols.
Basilio here with the great Chad Stockton of FC Alliance. And Chad, I can hear it in the background, brother. It's World Cup season, and you guys are in the middle of it. Talk to me.
We are excited. Our U9 through U12 trials just kicked off today for our locations in Knoxville and in Johnson City. So we're ready to offer any player top-level competition, top-level training anywhere they want to be in Northeast Tennessee. In our programs, we offer competitive play for anywhere from 9-year-olds to 19-year-olds. We've got two locations. Our location in Knoxville is kind of our home base, and our location up in Johnson City in the Tri-Cities area is our FC Alliance North. Both locations are growing tremendously, and we're excited about what the future holds here at both locations.
Growing the beautiful game in the season of the World Cup. Chad Stockton, how can folks get more information?
Go to our website, FC Alliance or FCAllianceNorth.org. And both locations, we're happy to serve the beginning player or the more experienced player, because what we will promise is the top-level training and top-level leagues that we can play in for all of our players.
Growing the beautiful game in Knoxville and now also in the Tri-Cities. FC Alliance. Thank you, Chad Stockton.
Thanks, buddy.
Got a plumbing or HVAC problem at home? Whether it's an AC that won't cool, a furnace acting up, a clogged drain, or a water heater problem, Pipe Wrench Home Services is ready to help. Right now, when you schedule any HVAC or plumbing repair, your service fee is waived with the completed repair. That means expert help fast without the extra cost just to show up. Our certified technicians will quickly diagnose the issue and provide reliable solutions to make your home comfortable again. And with our same-day service guarantee, you won't be left waiting when help matters most. For more than 20 years, homeowners across Knoxville, Maryville, Oak Ridge, and surrounding communities have trusted Pipe Wrench Home Services for dependable comfort. Schedule your repair today at pipewrench.com. Same-day service guaranteed, or the visit is free. Service fee waived with completed HVAC or plumbing repair. Restrictions apply. Visit pipewrench.com for details.
Okay, so we really need uniforms and equipment for this season. Can I trust you with that? Cool, I'll just order them online. What? Yeah, I'm going to hop online and I'm going to get them ordered. Hold up, that's not a good idea. We shouldn't just spend money on some random online retailer, okay? I mean, it seems pretty convenient. Trust me, it's a terrible idea. Let me simplify this for you. SM Athletics. Okay, how do you pronounce it? SM Athletics? They're the go-to for uniforms and equipment, whether it's for universities, high schools, youth leagues, you name it. So why wouldn't you rather go with professionals who can guide us through the process, design the perfect uniforms, and deliver the best equipment? Yeah, I guess that makes sense. What's the name again? SM Athletics. Right. It's definitely smarter to go with a company that emphasizes customer service, fair pricing, and, of course, excellent products. Exactly. So, yeah, I guess it's settled then. For uniforms and equipment for all sports, it's SM Athletics.
When a dangerous, overgrown, or storm-damaged tree is threatening your home, your car, or your family, don't risk it. Call ECR Total Landscapes, your local tree-cutting experts. From precision tree removal and trimming to emergency storm cleanup, ECR Total Landscapes has the equipment and the experience to get the job done safely and efficiently. Call today to set up your free estimate, 865-384-2012, or just go online to ecrtotallandscapes.com.
Preparing food for a big gathering can really take it out of you. That's why you need to call Calhoun's and check out their selection of party platters. Whether you're hosting a party for the big game, a reunion, or just an everyday gathering, a Calhoun's party platter is next level. Choose from Calhoun's always excellent chicken tenders. Fly with Calhoun's wings or boneless wings with a variety of dipping sauces. award-winning next-level melt-in-your-mouth barbecue ribs, or delicious spinach artichoke dip, or get one of each. Plus, if you're doing burgers or sandwiches, Calhoun's has lots of side dishes like spinach Maria, baked cinnamon apples, Smoky Mountain baked beans, or creamy coleslaw. Available in pints, quarts, and gallons. And to finish things off, pick up one of Calhoun's great desserts to go, including homemade cheesecake or key lime pie. Calhoun's, simply your go-to party headquarters. With 9 locations all over East Tennessee, you can order online and just pick it up. Calhoun's, one of the Copper Cellar family of restaurants, along with Chesapeake's, Copper Cellar, Corner 16, Cherokee Grill, and Smoky Mountain Brewery. Eat local, eat good. Like our 2026 football Vols, score a T3TD every time with T3 Vodka, Tennessee's premium vodka, handcrafted with passion, precision, and a whole lot of pride. Right here, handcrafted in the majesty of the foothills of the Great Smoky Mountains. Quality around here isn't just a promise, it's a way of life. And T3's filtered 10 times, 80 proof of vodka, delivering a smoothness unmatched. This dedication to excellence has earned T3 Vodka prestigious accolades, like a 5-time gold medal award-winning vodka and your SIPS Consumer Choice Award medal winner as well. Whether you're sipping it neat, on the rocks, mixing your favorite cocktail, T3 Vodka, your choice for a premium award-winning experience. Be like Maury Hanks. Score a T3TD. Ask for T3 Vodka by name at restaurants and wine and liquor stores today. Drink it neat, drink it right, and score a T3TD all 2026 long. Tennessee's Premium Vodka, T3, Tennessee's Premium Vodka, distributed by Empire Distributors of Tennessee. TB here for Cedar Bluff Plumbing, a live and local company that's been serving our area for over 32 years and counting, because every customer counts, and I mean no job is too small. Cedar Bluff Plumbing just voted #1 by City View magazine because multiple plumbing experts are on call to serve all your plumbing needs. Chances are there'll be a plumber in your area when you call, and they won't send some salesman to your house. You're going to get a high character, trustworthy, highly trained plumber who will serve you, not like some of these guys that look like they came off the set of America's Most Wanted. Cedar Bluff Plumbing is Basilio tested and approved and will go the extra mile for you because Chucky Mack is a servant of the people and my consigliere to the throne, celebrating over 32 years of serving living volunteers. Cedar Bluff Plumbing. Call 588-4448. That's 588-4448. Cedar Bluff Plumbing. TB back with you, 865-200-5402 is the numero do. If you want to get in the hunt and in the mix with us. And I would encourage you to do that. You know, looking at those quarterbacks, listen to Watson Brown talk, listening to Sean Sinclair talk, listening to Brian talk, taking into account what John Adams said yesterday, thinking about Tennessee's intact offensive line, getting on Josh Heupel for not having a veteran quarterback. I probably have a bad take on this, on the Joey Aguilar deal. I'm not saying I have a bad take on it, but I'm saying I probably have a bad take on it. I can't believe they didn't go get a quarterback in the offseason. I look at that schedule right now, even with the kids playing quarterback, and it feels a lot more navigable right now than it did. I don't know that I trust Texas being all that in a bag of chips. And Heupel is making $10 million a year, by the way. And I realize I was on here saying, well, you know, you play the kid, you set up a bridge year for 2027. I might have a bad take on that Aguilar deal. I might need to revise my take. One of my sayings is, I'll be wrong, I won't stay wrong. I try to live that way with my views as I go through life. And I see things and I learn, and keep your mind open and listen to other people, even people you disagree with. And
And then you kind of go, hey, I think I was sort of wrong on that. I'm wrestling. I'm wrestling in real time with the Aguilar thing. Watson said, Tony, the velo on his ball was down last year. Obviously, the tumor hurt him. And he's had a surgery, right?
He had a surgery that he should be healed from by the time the season would start.
Yeah, right.
That he's recovered from.
So maybe those of you that are talking about Aguilar, maybe you're right. Why didn't you go get a veteran quarterback? Let me ask you, what do we think of Aguilar 1 year ago? And what did this coach do with the guy? I don't know if they could identify a veteran quarterback that could play in their system. That's the problem with these dudes. And that is a problem, by the way. I was talking about today in the blog about why there's not a buzz about the true freshman quarterback. I don't know that our fans trust this head coach and his regime to identify. Because I'm telling you, the McIntyre guy in the spring was brutal. And I didn't do that. I didn't do that.
I really think they thought that they were going to get Joey Aguilar back for another year.
You can't do that.
I think that's what they thought.
That's irresponsible. You can't do that. You can't do that. But we'll go to the phones. I'm you know what? I might have to take a new show position on Joey Aguilar, and if he was back this year, they'd have made the playoffs. That might have been a stupid take I had several months ago when I said, hey, it ain't going to bother me if he loses a court ruling, and we'll see the kids play. I may have to amend that. John Adams jumped at me yesterday. He was like, man, you're way underrating that guy. Again, I'm somebody that's not afraid to tell you, man, I don't know what I was thinking. I'm wrestling with that right now. And I'm really not doing this for show effect either. But Watson got me. He said, look, that Aguilar guy was tough. See, this is why I don't understand why all these teams, you go get a veteran quarterback. He's tough. Sean Sinclair said earlier, you want guys that have had their nose bloodied a little bit and have been humbled. Those are good guys to have on your roster. And when they get their opportunity again to shine, they take to it because they respect the opportunity. It's true. It's true. Plus, the thing that's unique about college sports still that they haven't altered yet is there's still a finite number of years you can participate. Still a finite number of years. Now, people are arguing, well, about Joey Aguilar, he still has a ceiling. Yeah, that's true. Look, he's not going to be Peyton Manning. But did Trinidad Chambliss have a ceiling? Does Gunnar Stockton have a ceiling? Does Dante Moore have a ceiling? Marcel Reed at Texas A&M, does he have a ceiling? Carson Beck at Miami, I mean, we saw him. Does he have a ceiling? Baron Morton at Texas Tech, did he have a ceiling? Ty Simpson at Alabama. John Mateer at Oklahoma, does he have a ceiling? It's pretty interesting when you look at it. But we'll go to the phones at 865-200-5402 if you want to get in the hunt and in the mix. Let's set up your sports day. Before we do that, Brian, what do we have in the College World Series today? Game times included. What are we looking at in the College World Series today?
You've got North Carolina versus West Virginia. The Carolina Tar Heels are 2-0. They need one win to advance. West Virginia needs to win today and tomorrow. That's at 2:00 on ESPN. Tonight, you've got Georgia versus Oklahoma. Oklahoma's 2-0. They need one win to advance. Georgia needs to win today and tomorrow. And there could be another game tomorrow. If there's just one game tomorrow, it'll be at night. And then the best of 3 championship series is scheduled to start Saturday night.
Who are we for here? Who are we for?
I want to see West Virginia get through against, although North Carolina is going to be hard to beat, but them or Oklahoma would be my preferences.
I heard him talking last night. Georgia's pitching set up pretty well right now.
Yeah, it is.
To get
They've
through
used
Oklahoma.
4 pitchers in 3 games.
Yep, their pitching set up pretty well to get through Oklahoma. I would love to see those West Virginia people win it all. Oklahoma and West Virginia playing for it all would be wonderful. I like my man Dave Nathan. North Carolina's won enough, and they've won in enough things enough. And they're kind of annoying.
They've never won a baseball championship, though.
It was really funny. I don't know if it's funny. It's really interesting to think about how Texas all these years has had all these players go through that program. And I mean, all these players go through that program. Troy Tulowitzki's over there reading them the riot act last night. And this Schlossnagel guy has a tremendous reputation. But Brian, he can get you to Omaha, but he does not have the roadmap for how to navigate and win it all there, does he?
Well, he's perfect for Texas because this is their 39th trip to Omaha, but they've only won 6 titles, and they haven't won since 2005. He is the third. He leads. There's only been 2 coaches who have won more games in Omaha without winning a title than Schlossnagel, and one of them is Gary Ward for Oklahoma State, and the other one is Mike Martin at Florida State.
The Mike Martin.
Schlossnagel has 18 wins in Omaha, but has yet to bring home the title. That includes stops at TCU and Texas A&M, and now Texas. And Tennessee was part of that.
Cinco, why does that guy seem hard to cheer for? Why does that Schlossnagel guy just seem like a guy that I just do not want to root for?
I don't know. Everything I've heard about him seems like a decent guy. I know Elander and Vitello speak highly of him. He's well thought of in the coaching community from everything. Now, people may just be, showing a happy face when he's not really, but he's moved up. I think the thing last year 2 years ago with A&M to Texas,
maybe that's it.
I think that really, was the turd in the punch bowl for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And they just, no matter what he does, they're going to see it through that lens, whether it was the right move or not.
Yeah.
I don't think it was handled well. And I don't know how you handle it better, but that wasn't handled well. So I think plays a lot into it.
Maybe that's what it is. The Johnson guy, the Georgia team, from here, Oklahoma is just on an absolute heater. I don't know what to say about the randomness of that sport, but it's completely random. And yet, if you go there enough, sooner or later, that's going to happen for you. It's going to click in. But the one thing I know now going forward, watching that sport, now that Tony's not here and we're not supernova hot anymore, and I don't think we're going to be under Elander, no offense to him. I'm not expecting the days of the supernova burn. But I still think we'll be a very solid, formidable Southeastern Conference level championship type program, which leads me to this. Just get in the tournament, baby. Just get in the tournament. Chris Burke, I know he's an SEC sheep. I know he's the SEC baseball counterpart to Jimmy Dykes, which he would take as a compliment. He might be out doing his run right now, listening to us, listening to me saying that. He is all SEC, he's a total sheep. But Berkey does say, and he's right, it's being proven now out of this league, you get to the playoff out of this league and that sport, I don't care who you are, you have a chance to win it. This Oklahoma team is a way more surprising story. Some of the stuff Matt was quoting yesterday, way more surprising story than Ole Miss a couple years back. But they're both illustrative of the fact that it doesn't matter where you finish in this league. Tennessee, if they would have won that Sunday game, Bri, might have finished them off, and they wouldn't be having this run right now.
If Kentucky can get 3 more outs, they might be in the Final Four, given the draw.
No. But the randomness of this, and Sean, the other thing I said when you were away is I might have a bad take on Joey Aguilar. I might have a bad take on him. The concept that he wouldn't have made a huge difference this year after reading what these veteran quarterbacks did. And the other thing, Sean, I just can't get out of my head is, why didn't Tennessee, when they know that these teams all had success with veteran quarterbacks and that's where this thing is going, why didn't they go get a veteran quarterback and try and compete this year? Why didn't the athletic director make them do that? Why didn't somebody make them do that? Doesn't make any sense, Sean.
No, it doesn't. And you heard rumblings either way this spring that there was some regret that they didn't close that deal out. I mean, they get and of course, Negative Dave and these guys on the chat are totally twisting up what I said. I'm not advocating Staub be our quarterback. I was talking about injuries or poor performances, et cetera.
Yep.
So anyway, but no, I think when you take a look at through the lens of, is Joey Aguilar a great quarterback? I don't think anybody would suggest he's a great quarterback, but he certainly was more serviceable than we gave him credit for.
Yes.
And then, but you also have to think of, you have no reference of what's going to happen at quarterback with McIntyre and Faison. And then the more we hear about it is, it looks like it's going to be Faison. And, but we're just not going to run, GMAC down the road there. So yeah, would I prefer a starting quarterback that's coming off an injury and maybe even healthier, who led the SEC in passing in some categories? Would I rather have him or a complete unknown? Absolutely. And given that, why? Okay, you're not going to get Sorsby and it worked out. You didn't want to, the Levitt thing got to a point where you didn't want to cross that line, but there were other guys out there.
That's exactly right.
There were other guys out there. I mean, I don't know the connection, but did you check into the Mendoza little brother? Did you check into any of these other guys? Because we literally have nothing going into this season at quarterback except for potential and hope.
Here's a crazy thing.
There's nothing there.
Here's a crazy thing. If anything, Joey Aguilar should have proved to them, let's just go get a 5th-year guy off somebody's team just for insurance. Pay him $700,000 or $800,000 just for insurance. You know how much they paid this Staub guy? Because they say you get what you pay for. They paid him nothing. Nothing. As in no dollars. As in he's getting his school paid for. And I'm not trying to be funny about it. But this is a $250 million plus, what was it, $350 million? We're getting to a $500 million operation here. And what are we doing? And I'm talking myself with Faison Brandon at quarterback, okay? I'm talking myself in the summer in the 9-3. My take with Joey Aguilar is stupid. It's got to be stupid. I'm going to have to come up with a position statement and write it out in the blog tomorrow as I think about it.
I don't know if this is spin,
Nick Jackson says, my goodness, why take an unknown when you have an unknown? Hey, Nick, what did you know about Joey Aguilar last summer? Come on, man. Come on now. What did you know about him, Nick? What do you mean an unknown, Nick? You know he's a veteran player who can throw for some yardage. That's all I'm saying. You know that every team that made the playoffs last year, did you think, Nick, this Retzlaff guy was going to lead Tulane to a playoff last year, Nick? Or John Mateer was going to lead Oklahoma to a playoff last year? You know those guys are veteran players. That's what you know, Nick. Come on. You can question Josh Heupel, Nick. I know you can do it one time now. Come on. I know you got it in you. Nick, I know you got it in you. Come on now. Come on now, man. My goodness, why take an unknown? You're not taking an unknown. That's the point. You're taking a veteran player, and you're parking him on your roster.
This could be spin or not, but Brendan Sorsby's agent says that Cincinnati knew about the gambling addiction and took no action. He said they knew for 2 years and never said anything.
These guys are victims, man. I'm telling you, this Brandon Sorsby guy, he's a victim. You like it, Cinco? You like the victim society we're in now? This guy's a victim. Bet on the game he was playing. He's a victim. Everybody's a victim.
He might be the gift that keeps on giving, Cincinnati and other things. In fact, here's what's there was some, social media thing that, and it could be totally made up, but that Texas Tech was reaching out to Dylan Raiola about
yes, that's right.
Coming out from Oregon. What are they going to do? Because they're just not going to stand pat. And how everything's on them. Are they? Is it a sympathetic NCAA toward them, or
Dylan Raiola might do it? Dylan Raiola might just jump and go walk on a track over there, or go for track and show up and play football. Because I'll tell you why. He's totally obsessed. He is. That guy needs to go down to the Rent-A-Center, okay, and rent his own personality and gimmick. This guy is upset. If I were Patrick Mahomes, I'd be afraid to be in the same room with the guy. They would Monica Seles me. Back to the phones we go. I mean, what are we doing? But that's a shame for Raiola because he really wanted to go there, and he reached out to them and they told him, no shirt, no shoes, no dice. We want this guy from Houston in the UFL. Hello and welcome in. You're on the air.
How my French compatriots doing today?
There he is, breaking it down scientifically.
Tony, I agree with Watson Brown about Joey Aguilar.
I have a bad take.
There's two plays last year that changed our season. Number one, people said we were being too conservative against Georgia when we had it down there about the 30-yard line or whatever. We ran a running play that only one guy missed his block. 10 guys did their assignment. One guy missed his block. He made the tackle. I don't even think he tried to block him. He went for another guy. And our running back got up so furious. I wish people would go back and look at that, because the first defender that would have met him would have been at the 5-yard line, because they had that umbrella defense, back in the end zone. So that's a touchdown. Instead, we ended up settling for a field goal. We weren't really trying to be conservative. We ran the perfect play, and one guy messed up. Play number 2 against Oklahoma, we're driving about to score. And I know I can't remember the player's name. He was a right tackle, freshman, bless his heart. I might have done the same thing. But he has to know our running back is on the left side of Aguilar. He's the right tackle. There's an all-SEC lineman or linebacker about to come straight at your quarterback. Instead, he follows his assignment. That guy comes in, hits Aguilar in the back, untouched. If he'd hit any of us or anybody that's ever listened to the show, we'd probably still be in the hospital. Now, that was a 14 to 10 point turnaround right there. That's 2 plays I just mentioned. And not only did he have the tumor, but after getting hit like that, of course he wasn't in it. He probably had a concussion. And you change those 2 plays, we're 10 and 2. Ifs and buts and candies and nuts and all that, I know, but 99 out of 100 judges would have ruled, and we'd have had Joey football back this year, and I would say we'd go 10 and 2 with him.
But Brian, do you agree with that? Because Adam said they're a playoff team with Aguilar. I didn't really get you a chance to talk yesterday. I think I got to amend my. I think I need to write a little apology tomorrow in the blog on this thing.
I said that if
come clean.
Aguilar is back, we would be talking about playoffs.
Yes, we would.
With the
I
legit
need to come clean, man.
And I'm talking 9 and 3. You know, they'd have a chance to be 9 and 3, maybe even WLN's 10 and 2.
I need to come clean.
And, you know, if you look at our schedule and you don't have orange-colored glasses on, maybe the average person would say, "Well, the only sure loss I see on their schedule's at A&M."
Even Dave says he agrees with you.
I mean, every home game, Tony, I don't give up home games. We have a chance in every home game.
How many home games did we lose last year, W. Lynn?
We lost 3.
Yeah, really? Okay, just checking.
We lost 2 on 2 plays.
Breaking news.
You know.
That's what losers say.
That ain't what losers say.
Of course it is. Everybody, we lost on 1 play. That's what losers say. You either win or you lose in the SEC. W. Lynn, you know better than that.
I'm telling you the 2 differences. Aguilar had the tumor, plus he got hit, and the whole Oklahoma game, we'd have been up a couple of scores.
It's unbelievable, Andy.
And I'm not blasting the lineman, really, because like I said, if I'm a freshman out there, I might have done the same thing.
David Sanders.
But an experienced lineman says, "Look, I got to back up and stop this guy.
He's going to be mauling
There's nobody else going to block him."
He'll be mauling people this year. David Sanders is going to road grade some people.
Yes. And I'm telling you, every home game I know we can win. The most important game on the season is the Georgia Tech game. That determines everything.
Everything.
Because if we win that game, we're 3-0 against Texas. And I don't care what anybody says or where Texas is ranked. That crowd's going to be fired up. The 12th man, Brian, will have to be the difference.
W. Lynn, you fired me up, you focused me, and you prepared me. Call, stay right there. We're going to get an overtime segment in for the ages. It's going to be unfreaking. Or did I already take this time out? Brian, I already took it, didn't I? Let me see if I already took it.
You took one, so.
I took one when? I'm losing track of time here. All right, let's get another call in. I'm losing my mind over here. Hi, welcome in. You're on the air.
Tony?
Yo, welcome in.
Brother, some of our so-called fans that are probably Ole Miss fans, their heads exploding right now with what y'all are talking about.
Meaning?
Saying that Joey Aguilar would give us 2 more wins this year and we'd be better off with the guys we got, and that those 2 ball games were lost on 1 play. I mean, I'm not saying I disagree. I'm saying some people would be offended by that heavily because they said that Joey Aguilar would never be as good as Nico and blah, 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 blah. And they got too much invested in their hot take last year to where they can't ever say he was decent.
Joey Aguilar leads me to 2 things. Why didn't they go get another guy like him this offseason? It just doesn't make any sense.
I agree with that.
Right? Like,
yeah,
I think I think I have a wrong take right now, but I think they're dead wrong for not going and getting, when you look at it on paper, how successful veteran quarterbacks are in the sport right now. And they're coming in all shapes and sizes too, Rusty, including the guy that was here last year.
I think Bronny's right that they thought they were going to win the court case in a slam dunk because, like he said, 99 out of 100 judges would have ruled in Tennessee's favor. Sorsby case won. And so I think they thought they had him, and if they couldn't guarantee the top two guys that they wanted were Sorsby and Levitt. They couldn't get those. They would rather wait on rather wait on Joey's ruling.
So irresponsible.
Now, do I agree with it? I don't know that I agree with it, but that's what they were thinking, I'm guessing. That play that W. Lynn's talking about in the Oklahoma game where Sanders made the faux pas, it was an RPO play. And I know when people say RPO, nobody understands what that actually means. They think, oh, the quarterback's got an option to run or pass. That's not what an RPO is. Sanders' one job on that play was to block the guy he had, because Joey is reading a linebacker in the middle of the field. If the linebacker drops, he hands it off. If the linebacker runs forward for the running back, he passes it. And Sanders just blew the assignment and turned that ball game into an easy win to a loss, basically.
It's really odd,
and it's
man.
a shame. It's a shame, man. But hey, he's right. He's a freshman. He'll learn from it. But I had to call because I thought it was really funny that everybody's saying what they're saying right now, and they're probably right. But some certain fans are going to not like hearing that.
Oh, Lumbo. I get what you're doing now. When Mark in the Lumbo reads my blog tomorrow, say he's a first caller? When I put on an apology out there.
Well, like I said, probably an Ole Miss fan, not a Tennessee fan.
Oh, he's a real.
I mean, think about it. Hates Hugh Freeze. Despises Hugh Freeze.
Yep.
And loves Lane Kiffin. But now that Lane leaves Ole Miss,
doesn't like Lane Kiffin anymore. You're right. You know, he's infatuated with my boy down there too. He loves him. He quotes him like Mao Zedong, our boy down there at Ole Miss, who I love, Bri, who we have on from Ole Miss. But you're exactly right. That's a good stick on your part. Thank you, Rusty. That's a good stick. Mark in the Lumbo. This time he really thinks he's in love. He's in love. This time he really thinks he's in love. Let's go back to our phones. We'll do some overtime too. I want to chop this up with Cinco. I got a couple of things I want to do with the sink. Brian, what's the first team up in the kickball game here? First team up in the World Cup?
The Republic of Congo, which used to be Zaire.
Let's go, Eric Zaire. I remember when Eric Zaire played at Georgia. Cinco, to you? Eric Zaire.
Same signing class as Heath Schuler.
Go.
They're going back and forth between who would be the number one guy, and they both fought it out. One of the great games of all time was when Schuler was down in Athens and brought us back to that win. I think he was a sophomore, maybe.
Billy Williams made an incredible catch over the middle.
Yep.
Eric Zaire.
They had they were loaded. Georgia was at that time, and Eric Zaire would be. And the other thing was, remember him? He had the. He was showing male pattern baldness as a freshman down there. He looked like a coach almost, but great player. Regardless of that, I think he's part of he may be part of their color commentary during broadcast.
Oh man, we need to get Eric Zaire on just so I can call him Eric Zaire on the air.
He was a great player. Great player.
I'm talking about a guy. You talk about a college quarterback. I could throw it around now. Shh. Ogre. This guy could sling it and bring it and sling it. Just like my man William Pattison, just like Russell Smith and his merry band of misfits in the afternoon, right here at Fan Run Radio, where it stays rail 24/7, but loving every minute of it. Really appreciate Watson Brown for joining today. We had great discussion. There is no off season with this show. There will be no off season. There is no off season. We continue up, cook it up, compelling. I'm loving every minute of it. I can't wait for these College World Series games tonight. I'm fired up, focused, prepared. Tomorrow, the great Eric Penske makes a return engagement to the show. Joe Kurt missed his moment with us today. We'll get back with him. But Penske, or Brian Penske, rather, Eric. Who's Eric Penske? I don't know. I'm roached. Here's William Pattison.
You got to dream about buying some land.
No, that's wrong one. Here's William Pattison.
You're listening
Told
to
you I'm
FM
roached.
105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville, and W289CU Knoxville, Fan Run Radio.
All right, boys, who's Eric Penske? Where'd I get that name? And then we'll go to the phones.
Was he not a race car driver?
Roger Penske.
Roger Penske. I got to look up Eric Penske now.
Penske isn't that some oil you put in your car?
I'll tell you this right now. I got to write a position statement about Joey Aguilar. I was wrong. Before his court case, I said bring him back and the freshmen and let the freshmen play and let this be a bridge year to 2027. These guys, if he would have come back this year, John's right. I'm going to have to tell John on Tuesday. He was right. I might have to call John.
But you know what? I don't want to be hypocritical here. Is he would help us, but except for I guess you could have other things, but except for Mormon missions or other missions or what have you, I'm not for 24, 25, and 26-year-old guys. I know the judge in Knoxville took a lot of stick. It's very unpopular. I wouldn't want to be in his shoes. He looks like an outlier with all this other judge shopping nonsense. But I, for one, congratulate him on sticking to sensible things. I don't think you should be playing that old if you've had 5 years. Sorry.
Back to our phones. Yeah, I'm trying to get some lunch in here because I was up early today, had my antibiotic. My stomach's starting to hurt. I'm trying to get something on it. I don't want to bore you all, but man, antibiotics are rough. Woo! But they're good. It's working for me. It's opened my throat back up. Praise God. I couldn't swallow a week ago. When I say couldn't swallow, like eating Jell-O was almost making me cry. And Laura said, you got to go to the doctor. And I was like, I don't know about that. Yeah, you're on the doctor. Let's go back to the phones. Hello and welcome in. You're on the air.
Tony, can you believe some of these sheep out here saying we're 2 plays away from the playoffs? That's like me saying I was 1 leg from my parlay from hitting 11.
That's exactly right. Like in gambling, you either hit your parlay or you don't hit your parlay. And it doesn't matter how bad your beat was. You're either cashing a ticket or you're not. Yep. And the losers, let me tell you something about, and W. Lynn didn't like me saying this, but losers are always 2 plays away. Always.
That's like giving a trophy out for second place.
I agree with that. You and I are on the same boat here.
Joey Aguilar is a Sun Belt quarterback, and that's all he'll ever be. Congratulations on going 8-4 last season. Sorry.
Now, if he would have come back this year, okay, would he have been a better player? That's a question. I would have said no, but now I'm thinking about it. Brian Hartman's probably right. The Vols are probably a playoff team with him.
Agreed, but I'm in the boat with Cinco that I don't think 24, 25-year-old quarterbacks should be playing in college football. Sorry, I know that offends people.
I mean, it's true. What you're saying is true. I mean, that's the one thing college football still has is we don't let these guys hang around for 6 or 7 years.
Right. But, Tony, do you agree with me? You got to see what we got at quarterback with the 2 freshman quarterback, Faison and GMAC.
That was my take several months ago. Now that we're closer to the season and the sport feels so malleable and unpredictable, I wish we had a veteran quarterback right now. But yeah, We have no choice, man. Now you're going to jump off the cliff. And listen, this McIntyre guy is not doing himself any favors over the summer so far, based on the people I'm talking to. So,
you know what I would have done in the off season? I would have flown to California, and I would have offered that kid from Cal a bag, that JKS from California, to try to come here.
that kid's a hell of a player. Now, you would have had to probably, in free agency, a kid like that, I bet Tennessee, to get him to come across country, probably would have had to pay that kid $7 million to do that.
But it could have been worth it, though. Don't you agree?
What I can't understand, Sean, is Sean Miller was bragging the other day that his payroll is north of $20 million in hoops. And Texas is spending, Sean, are you ready? About $50 million in football. Hey, Cinco, when does this end? When does this end?
It never has, and it never will. Back in, take a look at Coach Majors. He got upset because of the way he perceived his salary was based on the other top schools, and he got to burn his saddle about it, and it ticked the people off. But the point is there was discussions back then about when is this going to end about coaching salaries.
Yep.
Never does.
Never ended.
It never does. The price always goes up.
Yep.
And the thing about this, we talk about collective bargaining. They can say the administrators don't want, universities don't want to have these guys as employees. They can say anything they want, but they don't. And to think that Congress, who they can't even get lunch plans right, are going to figure out something with this, that's pie in the sky.
Never going to
Another
happen.
thing to think about is if the way things are now is not great, but at least they're somewhat out in the open. If you think kids are taking a pay cut because of some Congress thing or some you're crazy. All it'll be is there will be a public portion of payment, and then there'll be an under-the-table portion of payment, just like it used to be. No way are the price of players going down. It's not happening.
And I know, Sean, you were saying earlier you don't know how the Mendoza kid ended up at Indiana. Like, we hardly knew about him when he was at California because he wasn't as talented when he got to Indiana because you know why? The Signetti guy knows how to develop quarterbacks.
Signetti's the guy, so yeah. But I think Mendoza was only there 1 year. Wasn't that his only year last year?
Yeah, correct.
I think that was just some absolute synergy, serendipity, all the words together, just a perfect thing. Who knows? They got Bruce Pearl lucky, frankly.
Yeah. Hey, Tony, one last thing on the way out. Are you excited about this football season?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, when we come in with low expectations, usually they surprise us. So let's hope that happens. Have a good day.
Are you excited, Joshy boy? Is he excited, Bri?
Sounds like his phone connection was excited to drop off.
Hey, Bri, is Negative excited? Give me a little negative, Bri, on this glorious Wednesday.
We're not going to pick up a first down all year. We won't even cross midfield.
Old negative. Old negative. Yeah, the federal government will have zero answers for this. The minute they put legislation, the minute they would pass something, it would go right to the courts, and that would be it for it. So, Bri, you're not buying. You're negative now, okay? You're not buying that one of these two quarterbacks is going to be pretty good.
They're not going to be any good. They'll never play. They'll never play anybody. Josh Heupel will be better quarterback right now. He'd come in there and play than these two guys will be.
What do you think of his negative, Cinco? That's a really good, Brian.
It is pretty on brand, and I like Dave.
He is
I like
one.
listening to him in the chat. I think
That is one miserable POS.
I think his calls are. I think the calls are a little bit.
That is one miserable.
But I kind of get that affect.
Yeah.
It's if you stay disappointed, you can never be disappointed. So I kind of get that psychology, but I think there's a lot of joy stealing going there. But I'm excited about the season, not because I think we're going to be great, but you know what? I was listening to Russell's show a week or so ago. I believe it was Russell's show, and he had someone on talking about first-year 5-star quarterbacks. And if you make the assumption that the defense is going to be pretty good, I don't know if ours is, but it might be. And then they fared well. They've actually fared pretty well. And so who knows? I don't know about GMAC, but Faison, Josh Heupel, I think we've had good quarterback play, not excellent play, but nonetheless, I do still think he's a quarterback whisperer. And one thing I want to clear up is I said a couple weeks ago that I thought our offensive line would be average at best, and I've seen a couple services out there that actually rank our offensive line second in the country, only behind Notre Dame. So, boy, was I glad I'm wrong on that, because they think very highly of our offensive line. I think Bishop's a very fine tailback. I think our receivers are really good. And the defense can't be worse than last year.
If you have the second best offensive line in the country by some of these, why are you not putting a veteran quarterback out there? Here, somebody asked me a great question.
That's just a mistake.
Somebody asked me a great question, and I want to give them attribution here. Go back several comments here. Let's see where this was. Well, whomever it was asked, when's the last time, Sean, we had a 5-star quarterback or a 5-star wide receiver blossom? And was it Robert Meacham?
What do you mean by blossom? Because both Swain and Brett Smith were 5 stars, high 4 stars, 5 stars, and they didn't do much in the NFL. But how many 5 stars have we had at quarterback? I mean, well, you got Manning and Marcus Nash. They were both great, but that's been a while.
It's an interesting thing to think about and ponder.
Yeah.
Because
I think the real thing is that we have recruited well, but we haven't recruited like Alabama Saban or Ohio State right now.
No.
Or Georgia over the past 6, 7, 8 years. We just haven't. We've had some highlights, David Sanders, et cetera, but those teams are bringing in 3 and 4 David Sanders.
This
they're bringing in top flight wide receivers.
Hey, Cinco, tell me about this DGGG guy. Tell me about him.
He looks like a Georgia running back to me. And that's all you need to say, because that's how they recruit running backs. He looks like frankly, I hate to say it, he looks like a plug-and-play guy at Ohio State. He looks like the real deal. Now, we've seen with Brian Darden, we've seen some other guys that doesn't translate always, but he just looks the part.
Back to the phones we go. I'm going to tell you something. Internally, Tennessee thinks they're getting him. They feel great about it. And I don't know if they're going to get him.
Well, isn't that the type of guy you got to overspend a little bit?
Sean?
Again, it's not my money. It's not my money. No one,
Sean,
no one's even spelling NIL with my money, I assure you.
Overspend's not the word for what they're going to do with him. They're going to set the market with him.
But there's been a thing where people would say, well, do we really need a great running back? We produce productive running backs. Dylan Sampson, Bishop, they weren't 5 stars. My question to you would be, given the fact the way we run the ball, what would it be if you had a DGG or someone like that in that same offense? Would they just put up the same, or would they put up significantly higher numbers? I don't know. I'd like to find out.
I'd love to see it. It'd be a shame if Heupel's tenure comes and goes here and we never see an elite back there. He's had nice players. He had a player of the year in the league. I'm talking about one of these elite generational running backs that people talk about years to come. Back to the phones we go. Hello and welcome in. You're on the air.
Messi LBC, Cinco.
Messi LBC, Cinco. Whatever that means.
What's that? What do you say?
Messi LBC, Cinco.
Oh, yeah. For the uninitiated like I was, that means Lower Blount County. He told me. So I've been here 20 years and never heard that. So, but take a look at the offense. Okay. So look what Heupel's done. Heupel produced one of the best quarterbacks in the country in Hendon Hooker.
Yes.
He produced who didn't do anything in the pros. No offense.
Right.
He produced arguably the top wide receiver for that year. He won the Blitnikoff Award. Hasn't done much in the pros.
Total bust in the NFL.
He produced the SEC Player of the Year, Offensive Player of the Year, and Dylan Sampson. I don't know that Sampson's going to have a great NFL career. This offense produces prolific offensive players.
Yes.
And none of those guys, Cedric Tillman, he was a throw-in, the last guy out of Gorman for the signing class. This guy produces stats. His players fill stat sheets, and if you were to add on, a 5-star back, golly, I'd like to think that they would really flourish here.
Music City Sam said DGG paired with a second-year Faison Brandon is exactly why you start Faison this year. I think that's right. But you're right, Sean. The knock on this guy's offense is he doesn't prepare guys for the NFL.
Who cares?
I don't care.
My season tickets are for Neyland Stadium, not an NFL stadium.
But it's hard to get elite players if you're not going to put some in the NFL. So it does go both ways. And I'm just telling you what the critics say. I don't care what the critics say. Rock and roll, my friends, is here to stay. All right, Brian, who do we like in these baseball games today before we get out of here?
Well, I think I've got to go with North Carolina and Georgia to force North Carolina to wrap up their spot in the championship series. And then I think Georgia takes Oklahoma to a game tomorrow.
I hate to see West Virginia go home, but they had North Carolina beat in the middle innings and had a dirty inning.
They've had one bad inning since they've been there. And
dirty inning.
It's going to cost them.
Yep, a dirty inning. Cinco, you going to watch it tonight, or are you watching more kickball?
Split the screen, baby. Watch them both. I think North Carolina just looks so solid. I think Oklahoma's carriage turns back into a pumpkin tonight. And I look at a Georgia, North Carolina free for all. And
Georgia's got to beat them twice, though, Sean.
I'm no fan of Georgia, but I want to keep the championship in the SEC.
Georgia's got to beat them twice.
Okay. That's the way. I mean, we did. Come on.
The team we saw and this team, that's they're light years from where they were.
Oklahoma just became a different team with putting these freshman pitchers and letting them just go.
Wow. And
then they have a couple players who weren't hitting homers that just started hitting homers.
And Matt said that one kid, that was the first start he had all year, and he went out there and dealt.
I think Georgia gets it.
James Daniel, by the way, with a cautionary tale. This is the other thing that's happened for Heupel, which, and again, I'm for Heupel, not against him. But he had a kind of a window the last couple of years with an easy schedule. James Daniel says next year you got to play at Georgia, at Bama, and at Oklahoma. He said there's no reason to look forward to 2027. Well, James, 2027 is the year these players mature. To me, and I don't want to speak in absolutes, but it feels like kind of a make or break year for a guy that's going to be going into year 7. Unless they go out this year and go 9-3 and make a playoff, which I suppose anything can happen. But there's no question that the schedules now, Sean, for all these teams, and we're going to see it this year. I think a 9-3 Tennessee team this year gets the playoff. Sight unseen.
I think it does, depending on the losses, but we'll see.
Brian, does West Virginia have enough pitching to beat Carolina twice in a row? Because it doesn't feel like they do. They have to maul the baseball, don't they?
Yeah, North Carolina certainly has the pitching to curb that quite a bit if you're West Virginia.
Has North Carolina ever won a baseball natty, Brian?
No, this is their 13th appearance in Omaha. They've yet to win a natty in baseball.
How many championship series have they played in, Bry?
They played twice against Oregon State back in the first decade and lost both times.
And I was reminded, by the way, that the time that several years back when Ole Miss won the Natty, Oklahoma was the opponent in the championship series.
Yes, they were. They kind of came out of nowhere that year.
Oklahoma's got a really odd. Cinco, there weren't 30 people in that park that day that weekend we played them. It's not that they had a few fans there. They had like 0 fans there.
I love the fairy tale Cinderella story, but who knows? Maybe they come through it. I don't, and they can get on a heater, but I think sometimes the ball stops bouncing your way.
Negative is all DGGGG all the time. He says he's a 5-star player. There are people in here calling this DGG guy not a 5-star player. He says, saying that what service wouldn't have that guy as a 5-star player, Sean?
Well, that's look.
Are you kidding?
I've done it enough.
Are you kidding?
If he commits to Ohio State tomorrow, he is a top 5-star with whatever jumps up. Absolutely, he is. Do I think that's a conspiracy theory? No, I've watched it for 30 plus years with that stuff.
Brian Hartman, give me a little negatives talking about how DGG is a 5-star player and the haters need to shut up. Brian, need a little negative here. Need you to talk about DJJ.
He'll never buy any. He'll never.
No, you love DGG. He loves DGG. So arguing is a 5-star player.
He'll come up here. He'll come up here and get hurt.
He's arguing that we have to get him. He's arguing we have to get him.
They'll never use him right. They'll just never use him right.
That's not.
They'll just never use him.
Negadave's positive on this guy. Negadave's had positive calls. Come on now. I mean, he's had. I'm sure there were a few Christmases where he enjoyed the gifts that were given him. You know what I mean? Or maybe a birthday cake a time or two that tasted pretty good to him every once in a while. Vandy Dandy, I've been watching you all day and you're gone for the day. Game misconduct for Vandy Dandy. I mean, a man can only take so much.
See ya.
Cinco, when America takes the field on Friday, I haven't even asked you about this.
Yeah.
Are they different, or was that opponent just that feeble?
We'll have to see. I mean, I've had my hopes with those guys crushed so many times that they looked a different cloth. Yes, first game, that guy the guy that got the brace in the first game looked different than I've seen anybody. I mean, a different type of player than Altidore or anything else. They've got to get Pulisic, involved. I mean, I don't think he's had much of a year this year in Italy. They got to get him involved, but why not? Why not? They look sharp.
That was unbelievable the other night. Now Friday at 3:00, another opportunity to take a big step. I love the offense, and to Sean's point, the concept of America scoring multiple goals in something that's not a friendly. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. Brian, it was fun today. Thank you. Tomorrow we will be joined by Brian Penske tomorrow. We love you. We thank you. We support you. We appreciate you. I gotta write my come correct letter on Joey Aguilar tomorrow on the blog. I gotta take a show position. Seriously, I'm even wrestling with what to put on there. Okay, let me look up Eric Penske. Hang on. Let me see how Eric Penske got in my brain. All right, let's look here. Ewens is Eric Penske. Sweetie, do you have any idea who Eric Penske is? You ever heard of Eric Penske? Where did Eric Penske come from? Eric Penske. Yeah, wow. Eric Penske is on SoundCloud. There's an Eric Letke on Team Penske. There's an Eric Seaman that works for Penske Trucking. There's an Eric Davis who's got R2R suspensions through the Penske Racing Shocks organization. There's an Eric Calden who works for Penske Racing as an engineer. Could he be Eric Penske? I don't think there's an Eric Penske. I think that's something I just came up with. At any rate, I'll tell you this right now. The fact that we got to get Eric Zaire's name in the on the show just does my heart some good. I appreciate you. I love you. I thank you. Have a great day. Be blessed. G to the B to the O. Take B now. And let us now rerun today's masterpiece. This is like Masterpiece Theater in here every day. You know what I mean? Masterpiece Theater. I'm not worried about the Sorsby controversy.